All right. Hello, hello. We are live. It is National Sales Director Crystal Trojanowski, and I have the amazing, beautiful Annaka Krafka with me. So we're going to give you guys about 1 minute before we dive in and get started for you guys to come on live. I'm going to make a post into our group letting you know we are live, and I see the viewers jumping on, so that means we are working. We are working and we are ready to rock and roll. All right, let me post this to you guys. We are live. All right. I hope you guys have all been doing fabulous with the peel deal. I just looked at our video about an hour ago, and the video has over 4,500 views since this morning, which is exciting. And I'm sure we're going to get more views and more customers getting excited because lots of people are getting off work. So make sure you're texting them out, getting those last minute peel deal sales in. And also, I want to make sure that you know, I just found out, because I haven't gone online and ordered mine yet, that there's actually 2 different peels to order. There's one that's the regular 50% off, and then there's the one that has the fixed cost with that discount built in. I'm assuming why there's 2 options is if you need to buy more than 13 and they only give you the max of 13 for the fixed discounted rate. So just make sure when you're going online that you don't actually pay the full regular cost. So we are going to get started and dive in. It is 6:03, and I am so excited to introduce to you the amazing, fabulous Annaka Krafka. And we're in the same, I get confused with leadership and seminar. We're in the same seminar now. Yes? Have we always been in the same seminar?
No, we were in Diamond. So when everybody got moved from Pearl to Ruby, were you Pearl before?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. So when you went from Pearl to Ruby, we went from Diamond to Ruby.
So we are Ruby together. We're both wearing like Ruby shirts. Yes. How cool is that? Representing. So I got to meet Annaka for the first time when I watched her debut as a brand new national sales director, which was so exciting. And she has the cutest little girls. And we've had the privilege of traveling the world together and hanging out. And our husbands just got back from an NSD husband ski trip, and Annaka's husband had the privilege of being the roommate with my husband, who likes to saw down trees at night. So I just spent a few minutes apologizing to Annaka on my husband's behalf that I'm sorry your husband got no sleep for a week, because my husband is very talented at snoring at night. So I have just loved to get to know you, Annaka. I love your strong, fun, spunky personality, and I am just so excited. I was so excited when you debuted as a national, because I was like, yay, another new friend to travel the world with, and it's just been so much fun. Annaka Krafka is from Grand Islands, Nebraska. She started Mary Kay in July of 2002 at the age of 20. She earned her first free car in October and debuted as a sales director January 1st, 2003. So that is some impressive work kicking off your business at the young, ripe age of 20. Annaka completed all new director challenges, and I know a lot of you are focused on finishing your DIQ qualifications and getting into DIQ on April 1st. And I've got to tell you, a lot of people don't know that the company gives us new director challenges. And so you get these challenges every few months, and each time you complete the challenge, you earn a $1,000 bonus. So get excited for thousands of dollars in your first year as a sales director. So it's a really big deal. And the company does that to keep you on track to not only debuting as a sales director, but debuting as a strong sales director And then they're just throwing money at you saying, here's money to cover the cost of your director suit. Here's money to cover your cost of your first seminar. So it's so awesome that the company does that, and so strong finishing all of them. Annaka has led her unit to the Circle of Achievement every single year, being a sales director, including twice in the 550 unit circle, and has been a part of the National Quota Sharing. Annaka's unit was the most improved unit in the state of Nebraska in 2012. Annaka is married to Aaron. So Annaka, Aaron, I love how they're all A's, and they have 3 daughters. Okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to pronounce their names correctly. And don't correct me if I'm wrong. Aislinn, Amaray, and Ilaria. 12, 9, and 3. 12, 9, and 3. And they're all 3 the cutest things you've ever seen. They're like true little Barbie dolls. And they're fabulous dancers. They're so talented. With the 3 girls and a 2017 pink Cadillac Escalade. It is like living the real life Barbie dream house. I love it. Annaka debuted the Wild National Area in June of 2016, and her mom, who I adore, is just so funny. I love hanging out with you and your mom. Is Senior National Sales Director Nancy Osborne debuted the Hope National Area in December 2016, making them the 11th mother-daughter NSD in company history. I have goosebumps. Oh my gosh. I love that. That is so special. And I am so excited to welcome you guys, the beautiful, talented Annaka Krafka. We are so excited to hear from you, be inspired, and learn from you tonight. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Crystal, for that introduction. And I just so appreciate your friendship. And, when you step into that, that realm of national sales director, it is seriously the best sisterhood in the world. And I so appreciate you because you were one of the very first to reach out to me in the Ruby seminar. So I appreciate you and love doing life with you, girl. Love it. Well, I will tell you a little bit about my story. I started my Mary Kay business 15 years ago when I was a college student. And just like every college student, I was just at a point in my life where I was busy. I had 2 majors and I was working full time on top of that between a couple part-time jobs. And I was planning a huge wedding. And I always tell people, you have to remember that when it comes to technology and social media, 15 years ago was like dinosaur days. So I was planning my wedding before Pinterest. So now that I'm a mom with 3 daughters, I know that planning their weddings is going to be like pin, 10 to 20 minutes a piece. But back then, I was totally wrapped up in all these details, and I was just overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. I was stressed. I was tired. I was broke. And I really started to feel like I was in a rut, and I was losing who I was. And here's my mom cruising around in her pink Cadillac, loving life in her pink bubble, right? And so she called me one day in the midst of a small meltdown, and I answered the phone, and she got the brunt of it. And her magical solution for all my problems is, well, you could always do Mary Kay. And so I, of course, did what any woman does, is I compared my weaknesses to her strengths. And I thought of every reason why I was not going to succeed in this business. But I knew that she was not one that was going to take no for an answer. So I kind of aggressively hung up the phone that day. This is before the touch screen, so I didn't jam my finger. I gave it the full arm swing. And I called my husband, who I was engaged to, and I said, okay, she's crazy. There's no way I can make the extra $1,000 that I need in my budget right now just by selling makeup. And he goes, Annaka, your mom makes 10 times that. What do you think she does? Sells drugs? And I thought, okay, well, her pink Cadillac is pretty good evidence that she's, selling Mary Kay. So I thought, you know what? I'll just try this. And when I said try, I really thought I was going to fall flat on my face, but then I'd be able to check that box and say, been there, done that. Now what do you got for me? And so I was going to show them that their little plan for me was not going to work. But my mom was very clear that Mary Kay doesn't work for you. You work for Mary Kay. And she was very clear on what it takes to be successful in this business. And she said, all you have to do is hold 3 skincare classes a week, and you can have anything you want in this business. The 3 plus 3 plus 3. And that's still relevant today. That was what Mary Kay called her formula to success. And so I thought I would give that a little trial run. And so I kicked that off in August 15 years ago, and I just sprinkled it wherever I could make it fit. And that first month is when I fell in love with entrepreneurship. That month of August, working my business 6 hours a week, those 3 parties a week, I made more than my 2 part-time jobs working 40 hours. So I soon realized they could no longer afford me. My confidence grew a bit during that month. And I realized, like, I want entrepreneurship. I felt like I took control of my life back rather than my life taking control of me. And so that was really the brain shift and the heart shift that happened that first month in the business. That September, I continued on with my 6 hours a week, going to school full time, planning a huge wedding and a very active social calendar. And that month, I went on target for my first free car. That simple plan of holding 3 skincare classes a week, full circle. And the following month, I earned that car and then became a sales director the middle of that December. I wrapped up my qualifications on December 14th. And I actually submitted for DIQ, similar to this promotion that we have going on right now. I submitted for DIQ with 8 active consultants. So it was a similar plan that what we have right now, except you had to have 30 to finish instead of 24. So I debuted as a brand new director the middle of that December and haven't looked back. I remember being 20 years old and telling people, my blood is pink. I will do this until I'm 65 and they will drag me off stage when I debut as an emeriti, as a national sales director, kicking and screaming, tears. I'll be protesting. I'm not leaving because I absolutely love this business. And then I'll get myself a little pink rocking chair with Crystal. We'll hang out as emeriti on our front porches or something. And because my blood is pink. And people would say, oh, please, you're 20 years old. You'll change your mind a dozen times between now and 65. But 15 years in, my life has changed a whole lot. But every single day, what has remained the same, what has been my constant is my love for this business, my love for what it offers women, and my love for the next step. And so, we just debuted as a national area almost 2 years ago. I cannot believe it. June will be 2 years since we debuted as a national area. And, I definitely did not get here because of perfection. It's persistence. And you'll find that out as you get to know me more. It's definitely persistence, not perfection. It's because I was not willing to give up. And so what I'm going to share with you today is the topic is time and money management. Okay. And this is perfect because I had to become masterful at both time and money management to have a happy life with this business. And I kind of feel we all have to. It's our privilege because not only does it affect our business, but it infiltrates into every single arena of our life, right? And becoming masterful at that, it impacts everybody in your family. And so it really is a game changer. But when I started my business, I will tell you, I wasn't quite so hot at money management. Okay. I remember that day, the day I began my Mary Kay journey, I had a whole whopping 13 cents in my checking account. Now, I don't want you to think I had it all together, by knowing what I had in my checking account. I had no idea what those lines were for in the back of your checkbook. And this is before online banking. And so the only reason I knew that I had 13 cents is because I actually called that bank every single day. Little Bank of the Valley in Bellwood, Nebraska. And I said, hi, Connie, this is Annaka. What do I have in my checking account? And that day she said 13 cents. And I said, oh, good. And it was like one of those pivotal moments where those words went out of my mouth, they hit the wall, they came around and they slapped me in the middle of the forehead. And they were, telling me, Annaka, how low must you go before you decide to make a change? And that was really the reason. That was kind of my rock bottom moment where I decided, okay, nothing changes if I don't make the change. And that was the day I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. Now, I was in college and I worked all the time. I was always a hard worker. I liked my independence. I liked pretty things. So I was always a hard worker. But I was in college. I worked all the time. And my mom was the one sitting across the table from me with that agreement signing me up. Right? And so when you work all the time and you don't have any money and you're in college, your parents say, well, what are you doing with all your money? And so I chose not to get in a public debate on that matter. And so rather than telling her I didn't have the $100, I just wrote a check for that $100 starter kit. You know, like the warm kind, right? So I wrote the warm check. I handed it over to her with the beauty consultant agreement. And then the next day, my husband and we were just engaged at that time, but we went down to Nabby Blood Bank in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we sold our plasma out of our blood to cover that check at the bank. And I'll never forget the look on his face on the next cot when he looks over at me and he goes, babe, make this worth my blood money. And I remember thinking, oh, I'll show him the best investment he's ever made. You know, we had a couple of free cookies. We got on our way. It was a pretty sweet little deal to cover that check, right? But it's been so fun at mountaintop moments in my career to be able to look at him and say, hey, babe, was that worth the blood money? Like on Seminar Stage, when we debuted as a national area, I think the whole 10,000 women were hooting and hollering when I said, was this worth the blood money, right? When we were on the airplane on our way to Argentina, when we were sitting at this small little intimate dinner with our own private waiter, a very sultry tango show going on, right? Crystal, remember that? Very sultry tango show. I leaned across the table on this hot date night in Argentina and said, babe, was this worth your blood money? So it's been one of those full circle moments, but I really feel the reason I had to go through that journey in my life where I had to have those financial struggles was because I learned how to take care of it. I learned how to respect the money that comes in with this business. And so I hope that this blesses you. But I do want you to know where I'm coming from, because if you've made some financial mistakes, that's okay. It's not where you start, it's where you finish, right? It's where you finish. So I'm going to go ahead and first off, just kind of share with you how I was taught to manage money with this business. Now, I will tell you, some people, this comes more naturally than for other people. And so don't be afraid if this is not your strength to enroll somebody in your life that it is their strength. Okay. Don't be afraid to do that. But one thing I want you to really be serious about is what it means to manage your money for your own business. Okay. And the importance of that. Did you know that the number one reason a business fails, not a Mary Kay business, but the number one reason a business fails is because lack of money management. That scared me because I was not a good money manager. I was actually starting this business because I was broke as a joke and I was engaged. And our minister said the number one reason for divorce is financial strain. And here I am getting married to this man who is very security minded, very money savvy. He likes to keep money and I like to shop. We were like polar opposites. And so I thought, if I'm going to walk down the aisle confident with this decision, I've got to create more income because this does not fit in that budget. Okay. So that was my sole purpose, like to change that number was my sole purpose when I started the business. I did not intend for it to be a long-term fix because I was not all in yet. But when I soon started making money and realizing how simple it is to make money with this business, I realized that I could make a life out of this because I could design my lifestyle whatever I wanted it to be. Whether I wanted a little bit of extra cash, like when I started my business and wanted an extra $1,000 a month to increase that budget size, or whether I wanted an entire lifestyle change, which I've come to decide was a better decision, right? So my sole purpose for starting this business was cash. Okay. So, but it's not about just making money. It's about managing that the way it needs to be managed to have a successful business and to have a successful life and to feel good about that, to feel at peace with that. So how I was taught was first thing you need to do is get yourself a business account. Now, when you go to a bank, you don't necessarily need to set up a business account because a lot of fees are applied to your account when it's called a business account. And there's really no perks that come along with a business account that are necessary for your business, especially at this point. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is set up a business account separate. Now, I would encourage you to have it at the same bank as your personal account. It just makes it easier so that you're not having to run all over the place and that you can't easily shortcut anything. Okay. So there's two different options as far as how you're going to run that business account. Now, for myself, I was driven by instant gratification. I love the fact that I felt like I had an ATM machine in my closet. And anytime I needed to create cash, I could sell something and take the money to the bank. So for me, that was empowering. That got me out the door. That, lit my fire. Now, other people might not be as instant gratification as myself, and they want to pay themselves every 2 weeks. And that's completely fine. So there's two options on how you're going to run this account. Now, I'm going to give you an example. We call this the 60-40 split. Okay, so if somebody comes and they purchase $100, now, where I live, our sales tax is 7%. So you'll want to find out wherever you are all over the country, sales tax is very different. Okay, some people have state sales tax, some people have city sales tax, and some people have both. So here in Grand Island, Nebraska, in Hall County, we have 7% sales tax. So what that would mean would be that woman would pay you $107. Okay, so whether she's handing you a check, whether she's giving you cash, whether she's using a card, that would be $107, $100 plus taxes. Okay, now when you go to the bank with that $100 plus tax, you want to keep the tax money separate. Okay, so look at your subtotal and see what your subtotal is, and that would be what you figure your 60-40 split on. So that $100, your 60% would be $60, right? That means that your $60 goes straight into your business account, your Mary Kay account. The $7 for taxes also goes into that business account. That's going to pay your sales tax on your next order. Now, the $40 is your profit. And so that is what you deposit into your personal account. Now, this seems really simple, right? Now, here's what happens. You have that fun little money bag that you carry around to your appointments, right? And then you have it on, the seat of your car. And your kids are jumping out and they need vending machine money. You cannot take that out of there. You cannot do it, okay? Because today it might be $1, but over the trajectory of a year, pretty soon that's turning into hundreds of dollars. Right? Just a little bit at a time. So if you worked for someone else, you would know that you have to keep your fingers out of the petty cash, right? So why would you respect somebody else's business more than you respect your own? So you cannot shortcut that. I promise you that if you take the shortcut on anything, it will always be the long way around. The shortcut is never the shortcut. Okay, so that 60-40 split seems very easy. Now, you have an emergency situation. You blow the tire in your car, and your car is sitting on the interstate, and you've got to put a tire on that car to get it home. And you realize that your personal account does not have the cash in it that you need to replace that tire, but your business account does. That would be like if you worked for someone else, you would be opening the cash register and taking the money out. That's what that's equivalent to. You would never consider that, right? You would do a little bit more work. Now, don't see this as a downfall. See this as a privilege that you have an opportunity like that where you can make a few calls, to service some customers, to sell the product, to do the 60-40 split, to make the $100 in your personal account to replace that tire in your car. So I just want to share that with you, because every time you shortcut that, what's happening is you're bankrupting your business. Because what will happen over time is when you go to your Mary Kay account to place your order at month end, okay, and you go to place your order and you don't have the money in there because you've taken some out of there for personal reasons, then pretty soon the product on your shelf to run your business is becoming depleted. And it's like starting all over again. And then it would be real easy to look at your business and to be concerned about your Mary Kay business because, oh, I don't have any inventory to work my business. I can't work my business. Or I'm getting into debt because I had to buy more inventory, which that's not the story. The story is you took money out of the cash register. And once you do that a few times, then pretty soon it's just a downward spiral. So you have to realize that you have so many tools right now to bring in cash at the snap of a finger. You know, just today, you can say, well, gosh, with the peel going on, with the peel deal, right there is an avenue for you to bring in instant cash. Do that 60-40 split and manage that appropriately. Right? Right here, you have that cash for whatever you needed. Make a few phone calls. The other thing that is an easy fix, you need an extra $100. Make a list of 10 men and call them and talk to them about Mother's Day baskets. You guys, these are ideas to where you can, dig in and create some cash if you need to create some cash. But don't you dare go to that Mary Kay account, because I promise you that you will regret it down the road. So now what happens in that Mary Kay account? Over time, that money will build back up in your Mary Kay account. And then when you look at your shelf and you think, man, I need to restock these shelves because, I have customers coming back and reordering cleansers and I'm almost out of cleansers. And I have 3 more skincare classes on my books this week and I got to make sure I got enough product on the shelf for them. And so what happens is when you've sold product and you have that money, that 60% in your Mary Kay account, then pretty soon you're going to need to place an order. And most businesses that have an adequate amount of inventory can place an order once a month to restock what they've sold to prepare for the next month's business. But here's what happens. If you are ordering, when I look at people's orders and they're ordering 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 times a month, that is eating into your profit. Why would you want to pay shipping that many times, right? That means that you don't have an adequate amount of inventory on your shelf for the level of business that you're performing at. And that's a good problem to have. So talk about that with your sales director, because you probably started with the smaller level of inventory or depleted your inventory. And now it's time to reboost because you're working this business. So don't be afraid to have that conversation with your director. That's a really good problem to have. And as directors, we are very resourceful on ways to help you to come up with extra income to be able to put some inventory on your shelf. Okay. So first off, that is going to be a very important topic. If you don't have adequate inventory, you're eating into your profits by shipping. Okay. If you were to finance a star level inventory, okay, let's just, for instance, use our Chase account, since Mary Kay has that as a hookup for you, that 0% interest Chase account. Now, if you purchase a star level inventory on your Chase account, your payment would range between about $30 a month to $100 a month, depending on what level you came in with. But you're ready to run your business, right? Now, if you didn't do that, every time somebody orders something from you, you're trying to hurry up and get that product in. So what happens is you're now ordering 10 to 15 times a month. That's $100 to $150 each month in shipping. So you can spend the money on shipping and then run all over town and deliver product and fill your car up with gas to do that and eat up a whole lot of time. We're going to talk about time next. Or you can have the product right there. Time is money. but you could eliminate all of those shipping charges by having that product on hand and then just make that monthly payment until you pay that off. So it actually costs less to run the business with inventory than without it. So as far as the money management side of it goes, that 60-40 split is a formula that you have to nail down. You have to take it serious. Get yourself a personal a personal account and a business account. And I also encourage you that when you're placing your orders to restock your shelf, to run those orders off of your debit card on that business account. That's an easier way to run it. I know that Chase account has some great perks. So if you're really, really disciplined, you can take advantage of that cash back that you get with that. But it's always a safe practice just to use a debit account attached to that business account that you're putting your 60% in. Now, the 60% replaces the product and also is going to help to cover, some demo products that you have or some samples and supplies that you're using, or maybe even your preferred customer program if you really manage that tightly. Okay, so that is the 60%. Now, your 40% account is your paycheck. The first check that you write out of your paycheck is the cost that you're doing business. So for your inventory, that's the first check that you write. The rest is profit out of your 40%. And then as soon as you get that paid off, then you no longer have that. And then that 40% is your income. Now, as a sales director, I found that it was really good practice to run all of my unit expenses out of my sales account. All of my unit expenses out of my sales income. That way, my commission check that came in went toward my family and our family expenses and our dream account and our savings and all of those fun things that we want to do for our family. So I know that we have consultants and directors on, but that's something that will just totally keep things at peace for you, especially if you're married. It really helps to keep that separate so that you're not paying for meeting fees or those types of things, events, those types of things out of your personal account. That's good practice to run that out of your sales account. Okay. Now, like I said, my first month in Mary Kay is when I fell in love with entrepreneurship. I fell in love with the fact that you can design your life. You can decide what you want your life to look like, what you want your life to feel like. So first off, money and time are kind of connected, because when you're designing your life with this opportunity, you're going to say, this is the hand that holds the pen that writes the check that I take to the bank, right? And so you can decide what level you work your business to provide the level of income that you choose to have. You are where you are for the choices you've made or allowed others to make for you. You may have heard that a time or two, right? And so that's your choice as an entrepreneur with this business. I always say you have the same starter kit that Crystal Trojanowski has, that Gloria Mayfield Banks has, that Annaka Krafka has. And so you get to write your own paycheck based on your availability and your willingness. Okay? So an important sheet that I made my boss, I called it my boss when I started my business, was the weekly plan sheet. And you can find this on Mary Kay in Touch. You punch in the search weekly plan sheet. And what I loved that first month is that I felt like I got my life back. I felt like I took control of my life rather than my life taking control of me. Rather than being overwhelmed, I felt exhilarated. Okay? And it's because I got a plan. I got a plan that served myself, served my future, and I strategically planned that on the weekly plan sheet. So in the weekly plan sheet, this is an important tool for you to master. You take the weekly plan sheet and you look at that sheet and you say, okay, what are my priorities this week? And it's important on Sunday night to get that weekly plan sheet out, to get a notebook out and start dumping. Every Sunday night I get myself a little treat, whether it's a glass of wine or hot chocolate or something. And it's like my chill time. I go into my quiet place with that notebook and it's like, I just need to dump my brain. What needs to be done this week? And when I'm doing that dump it list, I'm listing everything. Anything that needs to happen in our household, anything in my business, anything in my girls' dance life. I mean, it's going down on that sheet, on that notebook. And sometimes it's pages and pages and pages and pages, right? And then I get to decide, okay, I'm going to go through this with 3 highlighters. Ditch it. Not going to do that. This is really not important. I'm choosing to eliminate this. Time is money, honey, right? So if you're ditching it, just cross it off. Okay? Then you have a delegate highlighter. And I go through and I highlight who's doing this, whether it's an assistant, whether it's a kid that lives with you in your household, and you think, okay, you know, they have some really great privileges and they like some little extra money in their pocket. Or they want to have some Mary Kay, whatever it is. Someone that can help you with some things, whether it's your spouse. My husband's been always great at clearing my path every single day. Got home from work and said, okay, what can I do to clear your path? And so I would go through this list and I would write initials on who I'm delegating these things to. Just because I felt like when they were in my brain, I was overwhelmed, and a confused mind does nothing. It would paralyze me from doing what I needed to do. So when I delegated it, I felt like, okay, check that box, it's done. Now, does that mean that it's going to be done like I do it? No, it might not mean that. Like, I have a great lady who comes and cleans. She might not clean exactly like me, but guess what? She's getting it done. So you kind of have to come to terms with some of that, right? So I know you tie little bows on things perfectly, and you love your perfect little bows on things, and you might be delegating that to someone who doesn't get those bows as perfect, but I promise you, it's going to be okay, right? Sometimes you just got to delegate, okay? And then the next one is the do. And when it comes to do, you want your do things to be income producing activities. What you're doing should not be things that are not making you money. I promise you, scrolling social media, nope, no money there. It's not going to make you any money. You do not get to be a national, or you don't even get to be a director by scrolling social media, right? And so as you're going through that list, they are income producing activities. Then you pull out your weekly plan sheet and you say, okay, life, what's happening this week? And it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to design your life. And it's a privilege to be self-disciplined. Now, when you say, how do you feel about self-discipline? Most people go, ugh. Like, they feel like it's a negative thing. But here's the deal. Every single person on the planet is disciplined. You have 3 choices. Either you're going to be disciplined by someone else because you're working a regular job and they're going to tell you when to get there, when to pee, and what your priorities are, right? Or you're going to be disciplined by your situation. I'm sorry, honey, we can't do that because we can't afford it. That's a choice. Or, ding, 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 self-discipline. So when you realize what your choices are, isn't self-discipline liberating and not a negative term? Okay, so you have that weekly plan sheet. Now you go through the weekly plan sheet. You plan in life. Important activities for your family. You know, God first, family second, career third. You know, with your faith, what are your commitments? With your family, what are your commitments? If you have another job, what are your commitments? Now, if you have another job, of course, you're 100% kind of person. But make sure that you're not giving somebody else's business 155% and taking away from what you could build in your own business. Especially if you're wanting to get to a career level position with this business where this is your only income, where this is your future for your family. Okay, so take that serious. Then you go through and you highlight throughout that weekly plan sheet all of those priorities. And then you say, okay, where can I work my Mary Kay business? And sometimes that's a reality check. Sometimes you have these big grandiose goals up here, maybe even in here. But what happens is on the weekly plan sheet, it's not getting done because you're not creating a plan and working a plan. You're letting life take you by storm. So what happens here is you plan in, okay, where are these 3 parties or 4 parties or 5 parties or 10 parties this week that I'm going to be holding? Where am I going to be holding them? And then you put them in your calendar on the day and you highlight that section green. That's your money-making time. What's it going to take to get those parties booked? When are you going to be making those phone calls? Now, if your weekly plan sheet says, man, you might as well be using that lunch break that you have, take 20 minutes to eat and 20 minutes to book and 20 minutes to just have some peace and quiet. And you're going to be able to book 2 or 3 appointments every day over your lunch break and use that time wisely. Now, if you have that in your weekly plan sheet, and then you set a timer on your cell phone to alert you that it's time to go to work, then what happens is it triggers you and you create those healthy habits of time management where you're using those little tiny pieces of time that if you didn't have them planned, you would just get caught up scrolling social media or doing something that wasn't going to add value to your future. Now, you know that you've had skincare classes booked where all of a sudden it flies off the calendar, right? All of a sudden she cancels, she postpones, she porches you, right? It would be real easy just to say, oh gosh, you know, I got that canceled, so I can go out to dinner with a friend, or I can do this, or I can do that. What happens is those people will no longer take your business serious because all week long you've been planning to work your business at that time. So then on Wednesday, when you're supposed to have a party, then they're not all in on you having a party. They're like, well, maybe you should come home early and help with this. Well, I'm going to ask her to do this because, you know, maybe that'll cancel. So I've always found it's really good practice that if something cancels or postpones, you are planning to work that time doing an income producing activity. If that changes, you still need to use that time doing an income producing activity. So don't go home to the chaos, you know, to spaghetti flying through the air or kids needing baths or homework needing done. You've delegated that. You've handled it. You've cleared your path. So instead, go park your car somewhere or go sit in a coffee shop and make booking phone calls. Follow up with customers. Find out who you could book to replace that party. Right? So it's just very important to manage that time so that you're taking control of your life rather than your life taking control of you. You know, bottom line, we all have the exact same amount of time. Why are some people killing it while others are letting life take them by storm? It's because you have to be intentional with that time. Time is money. Now, if you look at the weekly plan sheet and you're saying, oh, where am I going to fit in 3 parties? I want to debut as a sales director this year. Or as a sales director, you're saying, man, I want to turn up the heat in my personal business. My unit is a Cadillac unit. It's time we get this done. Or I'm putting my national area together and I've got to go out there and find those next leaders. I got to get in the field. And you're looking at your weekly plan sheet and you're saying, where is this going to happen? Then it's time to get really serious and really intentional about where you're spending your time. Sometimes it's really easy to slip into saying yes to a lot of good things that are even good causes that make you feel like a good person and make you are a good person. But you have to remember that saying yes to everything good is saying no to what God has in store for you that's great. And so it's important to get zeroed in on what your goal is for your family and to make sure that your weekly plan sheet and your plan for your life aligns with that. Because if you don't have that zeroed in on, then you're going to let every single person take and take and take from you. And pretty soon you're known as the person who will just do whatever. And you can't be the jack of all trades and the master of none. So there might be some really good things that you need to put on the back burner to a later date. You know, my husband loves to play golf. He does. But for years, every single year, he would be asked 100 times if he wanted to play in a golf league. And he chose to say no for years because he said, you know, someday I can play in a golf league, but right now my wife is becoming a national sales director. Now, this summer, you know, I am a national sales director. And so I said, babe, go do it. Go play in that golf league. You deserve it. You dug in and you paved the way for us and cleared our path. And, you know, I want you to every Thursday night have that time. So go play in a golf league. So you have to remember that it's not no forever. It's just no today. And you don't have to do this forever. You just have to do this today. And a really powerful mantra to tell yourself is, I'm willing to do what others are not willing to do to have a lifestyle that others will never have. And I know that sometimes it would be easier to just crawl up on the couch and, watch a movie or watch TV and get sucked into that every single night. The grind, the rut, whatever you want to call it. Like, 90% of America out there. And I know that some days it would be easy to do that, but that doesn't align with your goals right now. And you're not asking yourself the right question. Don't ask yourself, do I feel like laying on the couch, cuddling with my husband, having a glass of wine, watching a movie? Or do I feel like making booking calls? You'll always choose the husband, the couch, the whatever, right? But get serious about training your brain to ask the right question, to zero in on why you're doing this and say, okay, do I want to make booking calls? Or do I want to make booking calls so I can have that? Or do I want to lay on the couch and not have that? That's the real question. Do I want to have this or not have this? Do I want to create this or not create that? So I know sometimes you just want to throw the weekly plan sheet over your shoulder and say, oh, I just want to couch it. I just want to Netflix binge. But the reality of the matter is what you put off today will still be waiting for you tomorrow. And one day you're going to run out of time because every single one of us have an expiration date. And I don't want you to be one of those people on your deathbed thinking, oh, what if I would have done this? And, on this journey to national, about 2 years or 18 months before we debuted, actually more like 14 months before we debuted as a national area, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma. And it was one of those times where we were both running to national. We had just said, we're doing this like 2 months before this. And it was just one of those take the wind out of your sails. But what it did for both of us is it really gave us clarity on the fact that you cannot put off till tomorrow what you can do today. And I know that so many times we think we have forever to reach these goals, but that's not a reality. We don't know what our expiration date was. But in honor of International Women's Day, I'm going to ask that every single one of you get serious about your impact. Get serious about what you're contributing as a woman. And if every single one of us used those gifts that God gave us, how much different would this world be? If every single woman made a plan and worked a plan like Mary Kay asked us to do, how different would your life be? How different would your contribution be? Whether it's to nonprofit organizations that you want to support, to your church, to God's kingdom, you're a difference maker. And so we want you to take that starter kit that you have, and we want you to run out the door that as fast as you can go. So I hope some of these tools have blessed you today, and you feel like, okay, I know how to manage my money. It's not as hard as we make it seem. We just got to get really disciplined with that 60-40 split. And you get a plan. Mary Kay said, plan your life like you plan a vacation. So before you leave on a vacation, you make that list. You don't want to forget anything, right? And you decide when you're going to do what you're going to do and what you're going to wear when you do it. Why would you not do that for your life? Right? Why would you not get intentional like that for your life? But I promise you, if you do, you will create a life that you love. So I wish you all a money-making March, and thank you so much for having me.
Yes, Annaka, oh my gosh, that was so awesome and so amazing. All of our viewers, hang tight because we are going to go over our numbers. But Annaka, I just want to take a minute. I know everybody else, I'm sure, has words of affirmation for you, but a couple of things. Number one, I love listening to you teach and train. You are so clear in your message. And when you said it's not perfection, it was persistence. I'm like, I don't know. You seem pretty darn perfect in everything you do. That I just love listening to you. So I just want you to know that you're an amazing storyteller. You're an amazing articulate trainer, and you're so easy to listen to learn from, and to follow. Coming from someone who has to try more hard than I feel like the average to stay engaged and in tuned. to listening. You were just absolutely phenomenal. I literally could have let myself cry when you talked about all the different scenarios of victories that you had and asking that question, was it worth the blood money? Just thinking about the experience your family has and the life that you set up in being persistent through your Mary Kay. Everything about money management, you were so clear. I love that you said shortcuts are never shortcuts. It's always the long way around. And I've always said often that whenever there's a shortcut, and there's always some form of consequence that comes along with that. And I guess that's a long way around. And I love that you said you get to write your paycheck based off your availability and your willingness. Because if this is a priority and you really want this, then the willingness will be there to back it up, and you would be able to write yourself any paycheck. And one of my other favorite takeaways, two more I'll share, but one of them was the discipline. And that discipline, that word discipline, can be liberating. Being a freedom and choice person, hearing the word discipline makes my skin crawl a little bit. And I've learned that I am very self-disciplined, and that's freeing. Because if you're not going to be self-disciplined, you're going to be disciplined by your situation or by somebody else. So I loved you sharing that. Thank you for that. And then the easy way, it is so easy. And I love how you painted that picture. And I'll tell you what, I was up first thing this morning, getting ready, putting that video together. And it's just been go, go, go. And I have this window of time today. And I started justifying in myself, you know what? You're going to be working all night tonight. I have a phone call appointment at 9 o'clock. I mean, I'm working tonight. I've worked all morning. You know what? Just sit on the couch and get caught up on a TV show. You deserve it. And I almost sat and did it. And I would have just felt so lazy. I'm so grateful that I went after it, because gosh, I feel accomplished. And you get to give you that gift when doing your weekly plan sheet. So Annaka, I just want to say thank you so much for pouring into our March Madness Boot Camp and being one of our guest inspirational trainers. So thank you. You are such a blessing. So round of applause for Annaka.
Thank you, Krafka. And I'm freedom of choice as well.
Yes. I love it. That's why we're always fly by the seat. We're always the one who are ready to go out and have fun and do whatever when we're out and about. I love it. So Annaka, I know that you typically use Zoom. So for Google Hangout, you can totally just hang up. It's not going to disconnect the rest of the call. And we're going to go into some recognition. So thank you, Miss Annaka.
Yeah.
We love you.
See you all at seminars.
I'll see you in Rome.
We'll see you in Rome. Yes.
See you in Rome. All right. Bye, dear. All right, so so many great takeaways. I hope you guys took notes. It helps me engage to take notes, even though I teach the 60-40 split and know it. If you guys want to stay engaged as, you know, a learner, always make sure that you have that focused time to take notes, come back, rewatch it if you need to. I love so many things that she shared. There was a couple things I felt like I wanted to expand on. But we can hold off and wait for it for Monday. I'm so excited for Monday, you guys. I have really been loving this. I feel like my camera's like zoomed in, because normally I'm like here, but that's just, I don't know what is happening with my camera zoomed. Okay. So I'll hunch over. I don't know what to do. So I just have to share with you that I have been so excited about this voucher system and having them shorter, smaller vouchers, because it's really changed up the game, and we're having different people in the top every single week. And I love the comeback bracket where you guys can move back up, and you guys have made some comments about that. Like, thank you for having the comeback bracket. Yes, now I'm back in the winners bracket. And so if you're just starting to play along because you've been out smelling the roses, know that you can jump in, and there's still a place to win. So so my prizes, the rest of my prizes, I don't have them physically with me. So they're not going to be mailed out on Monday, because I don't think I'm going to have them until Tuesday or Wednesday. So if you are in the top 5 of earning prizes for what I'm about to announce, and for Monday, those prizes probably are not going to be shipped out to everybody until a week from now. Okay, so I just want you to know that I really was working on being super on top of it, but every time, like for the, when you're like, I'm going to do that today, I'm going to do that today, and you just keep doing it. And all I needed to do was just like click the button to get the gifts sent. And I finally did it today. So anyways, here we go. You're going to love them. They're awesome. Oh, and I will tell you that I had some sales directors that weren't very happy. not that you weren't happy, but that you guys love the earrings so much. And a lot of the sales directors didn't get the earrings and they want more of the colors. And so that one week we had our sales directors get the Starbucks coffee gift cards and the consultants got the earrings. So I actually went and bought more of those earrings. So if you are a sales director and you're in the top 5 for this week and you already have a pair of those earrings, make sure you text me and I'll make sure that you get a color that you didn't have. So I had a lot of sales directors who were like, I want those earrings too. And then also the Starbucks gift card. So this week we'll do the consultants. You get a Starbucks gift cards. And look what I have for you. I'm going to put this in with the Starbucks gift card. It's a peel sticker, but it's a designer sticker for your compact. So let's see if I have a compact in here. Oh no, it's in my purse. But you just, like, if this was the compact, it's designed and it goes right on top of your compact. So you're going to get this little designer sticker. It's so cute. So you have a customized compact. And I love these because when I travel and whatnot, I don't have a big palette, you guys. I honestly just have our mini compact with the eyeshadows. That's all I need. And then I have one with my blushes. And then I have one in my purse for my touch-up powder. So this is an easy grab to go to know, like, if this is on my powder, I'll know that this one is always my powder, so I don't accidentally grab like the wrong one when I'm switching purses and whatnot. So another cool thing to have those. So these will be in the prizes for you this week as well. So directors, you'll get the earrings. Consultants, you'll get the Starbucks gift cards with the compact cover for this week, okay? All right, so let's go over. Our winners bracket is shrinking down. Our comeback bracket is growing, but remember, we're always going to take the top 10. So we are going to start with our, we'll start with our directors. And I'll go with the top 20. We actually have 40 directors in the comeback bracket. So I'll copy and paste it and post it when we're done. So number 20 sales director is Amanda Zender. Congratulations. Number 19, Sarah Godfrey. Number 18, Callie Thorne. Number 17, Michael Diaz. Number 16, Jody Solberg. Number 15, Holly Dewey. Number 14, Carol Pittman. Number 13, Karen Thielen. Number 12, Jade Pearson. Number 11, Margot Montgomery. Number 10, Lisa Michelle Eagler. Number 9, Bonnie Smelser. Number 8, Crystal Mowdy. Number 7, Corinne Kelleher. Number 6, Megan Estrada. Number 5, so we're going into the top 5. Well, you'll be getting your gift in the mail. Rachel Kellogg. Number 4, Jesse Nichols. Number 3, Kristen Killian Williams. Number 2, Anna Sandoval. And our number 1 sales director for this week's voucher is Miss Mary Lyons. Congratulations, sales directors. We're so proud of you. I'll be posting this so you can see who's made it into the winners bracket. All right, winners bracket for our consultants. All right, we have number 20. Our directors, directors, there are 30 sales directors in the winners bracket. And for our consultants, we have 40 in the winners bracket because they're different total numbers of y'all. All right. Number 20, Carrie Johnson. Number 19, Jennifer Arnold. Congratulations. Number 18, Anita Treviano. There's no A there. Trevino McZeal. Number 17, Elena Gomez. Number 16, Jessica Anderson. Number 15, Abigail Escobedo. Number 14, Betty Winstra. Number 13, Lindsay Schick. Number 12, Jamie Eaton. Number 11, Tiffany Shelton. Before I jump into number 10, I really want to encourage you guys to send Annaka Krafka a personal message. If you're connected with her on Facebook, just saying thank you, any takeaways for her time. Those of you that have my Voxer, if you want to go ahead and send me a Vox to her, I will forward it to her. The last time I was a guest speaker for National for 2 days, she just kept forwarding me Voxes that her consultants and directors left for her about what they loved about me. And it just like, she was like, I'm so sorry I'm blowing you up right now. But so many people are messaging me and it just made me feel so special. So I would love to pass on that love and generosity to all of our guest speakers that we have on Thursdays, just to thank them, because it is literally the graciousness of their hearts of them investing time for us. So thank you if you guys can do that. Okay. Number 10, Dawn Proctor. Number 9, Taylor Renee. Number 8, Haley Meyer. Number 7, Brittany Nelson. Number 6, Audrey Parnell. Going into the top 5, number 5, Logan Mach. Number 4, Rachel Samagpang, if I'm saying that properly. Oh yeah, I told somebody, I was like, how do I say her name? All I want to say is Pang Pang. And they said, well, if you say Pang Pang, you have to go Pang Pang. So that's going to be my own personal inside joke. That's not an inside joke. I'm telling all of you for Rachel Pang Pang. That's what I say when I see your name in my head every time. So know that I'm doing that around my house when I say your name, Rachel Pang Pang. All right. We love you. Congratulations. Number 4, Rachel. All right. Number 3, Caroline Della Victoria Visual. Congratulations. Number 2, Ariana McCarthy. And our number 1 consultant for this week's voucher is Marissa Valesterios. Okay, she even like broke it out for me. Valesteros. Valesteros. I feel so official. I don't know if I did it right, but there you go. Congratulations, ladies. I am so stinking proud of you. We're going to wrap it up early tonight. So I am so grateful for your time. Make sure that you tune in live with us on Monday for our training and rock out those vouchers. You guys break it down, dig in. It is March Madness. I want you guys going all out. And I want you guys to step out into your boldness, when you're going out and meeting women, when you're asking them for those sharing appointments. Let your passion shine for your business, for your goals, for the promotion you're going to give yourself to team leader, red jacket, senior consultant, DIQ. And I am cheering you guys on to sales director, because it is definitely the place to be. It is going to be such an amazing seminar, celebrating so many of you finishing up your qualifications. And I'm so excited to celebrate our sales directors in their promotions to senior sales directors and future executives. And I know so many of you guys are in the process of going on target and earning your free cars, and I couldn't be more proud. I'm watching your activity. I'm watching your results, and I couldn't be more excited for the engagement and the focus that you guys have in staying consistent for you, staying consistent for your future, for your business that you are building. And so I want you guys to take Annaka's advice and do a brain dump. And you guys, I just want to share this with you as we end, that I know Annaka mentioned doing a brain dump every Sunday. And that's the norm. That's typical. That's what a lot of people do. I just want to share a thought with you if you're not the norm, because I'm not the norm. And I need to do a brain dump every single day. You know, typically I do it at night, but today at lunch, I literally just pulled out a paper because I started feeling kind of that overwhelmed spinning of all the things I need to do. And I started thinking, oh, do I have childcare set up for this trip? Oh my gosh, wait, I forgot to correct the dates on those travels. Oh, and I need to do this and I need to reach, and I literally just all of a sudden started freezing. And when we're overwhelmed with all the things we need to do, a lot of times it does make us freeze. A confused mind, an overloaded mind won't do anything. So sit there and brain dump. And this is the exercise in which I do it. I just sit there with a pen and paper and I give myself some time and everything, even if it sounds like the silly, I mean, the silliest thing, just like Annaka said, some things you just strike off, but you just dumping it out of your brain, putting it on paper, and it really makes a difference, pen to paper versus just like typing it in your phone. And so dump it all out. Anything from, oh, I need to pick up my pants from the dry cleaners. That was one of my things today because I had a new zipper put in my pants. And so all the things that you need to do, brain dump them. Because of the brain dump I did is why your prizes are on their way, because I hadn't been doing my brain dumps the last few days. And so I froze and started getting overwhelmed today. And so I brain dumped everything out and I wrote down everything I was going to get done today. And so one thing that I do too is I brain dump everything. And one thing that was really freeing for me is to designate times next to it, the length of time I'm going to give that activity. So an example I always use, because the first time I started doing it, it was the most freeing thing, calling my grandma. I love my grandma, but sometimes I don't reach out to her as much as I would want to because I didn't really make it a priority and schedule it in my day. And honestly, sometimes calling my grandma or calling someone, it's just as like a task where it's like, I need to call her. Is she going to be in a good mood? Is she going to be in a bad mood? And I don't know, I'm not like a phone person unless I make my booking calls or a coaching appointment. I'm not a phone person. Okay. I don't enjoy talking on the phone. So anyway, I would put down call grandma. That was on my list. It was in my head. It was tripping me up. It was making me freeze. I put call grandma. 3 minutes. So I'd call my grandma. I say, hey, grandma, I've been thinking about you. I'm about to step into an appointment, but I just had to pick up the phone and call you because you've been on my mind. How are you? How's Bridge? I would love to have lunch next Saturday. I have some time. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful I had a chance to connect with you real quick. I got to walk into my appointment. I love you. Okay, I'll see you Saturday. I mean, like literally that 3-minute conversation can be so powerful and impactful and freeing of the cluster in my brain. And it doesn't have to be 20 minutes. And me thinking about calling my grandma probably wasted hours of productivity of stressing me out when really, if I would have just wrote the minute 3 next to it and called her and gave myself 3 minutes and set it up for that, I would have been more productive. So with that being said, when I brain dump, I'll put down the times, the gym. Somebody's like, oh, that takes up the whole morning. No, I'll be done by 10. I'll be home by 10:15. I can be ready to walk out the door, dressed, showered, ready to go, signed, sealed, delivered by 11:15. So no, I'm not busy until 12:30. I'm busy until 11:15. So I give myself the time and, getting my hair done, picking up the dry cleaning, delegate. So everything Annaka said, brain dumping it all down, sit there in silence, let everything out, write it all down. Anything you can delegate, I write a D next to it. I'm not good with highlighters. That just is too organized for me. But I know, those C personalities, you're going to want that highlighted out and all organized and pretty. Me, I just write a D next to it, put a line through it. Then I put numbers and I organize it, what I'm going to get done that day or what days I'm going to get it done later on that week. And it's just so freeing. So I really want to encourage you to do your brain dump tonight, do it every night and wake up refreshed. And remember, what you tell yourself when you go to bed is how you'll start your day. And so there's times where it's late and typically I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. I'm getting to bed later than I wanted to. It took me longer to do the science project, whatever it is. And you guys, that's exactly how my day's going to go tomorrow. I'm going to wake up tired. I'm going to wake up overwhelmed. I'm going to wake up like I don't have enough time because the thoughts you have before you go to bed is truly going to set up your day for tomorrow. And so when that thought comes into my head, remember, give yourself the gift of the power of the second thought. It might go through my head of, oh, it's so late. I was supposed to be to bed 2 hours ago. I'm going to be exhausted tomorrow. No, I eliminate it. I crush it as fast as that thought gets into my head. And I tell myself a new story. I give myself the power of the second thought. You know what? I can run off of 5 hours of sleep, and I'm going to wake up energized, and I'm going to tackle the day, and it is going to be awesome. And I'm going to get everything done that I'm set out to do. And I'm setting myself up for success. And that's why it's so great to read yourself a powerful book before you go to bed. Listen to meditation music instead of TV or some suggestions they give. But fill your brain with powerful, positive thoughts before you lay your head down at night to set yourself up for a successful, powerful day. So I want to challenge you to exercise this with your brain dump tonight and positive affirmations and thought processes before bedtime to have a powerful Monday. And remember to go online and get those peels ordered. And remember, there's 2 different peels to order, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, but in case you missed it, they have the regular priced peels that don't have the fixed discounts, and then they have the ones with the fixed discount. Okay, make sure you're ordering the discounts. They have both of them on there in case you're someone who needs to order 20 and there's only limit 13 peels. But if you sold more, they still want to give you the option to order more. So just make sure you order the correct one with the discount. All right, you guys, there's still time to sell those peels. So pick up that phone, call your customers, call your family and friends, make it a powerful end finish. And I will see you guys, I'm sure, on Facebook, but I'll see you all Monday night at 6 p.m. All right, have a powerful rest of your week.